Hi everyone, welcome back. Today's video is going to be, I guess, a chatty get ready with me, but I was talking to my friend Sam the other day and I was saying how much I was enjoying playing with my old makeup. Like I wasn't really trying anything new, I was just reaching for things that I used to love but have since sort of forgotten about because we get lost in the mess of all the new products that are always coming out. And she suggested that I do a full face of nothing new. And I loved that idea, so that's exactly what I'm going to be doing today. In fact, these products are so not new that some of them are quite old favorites, which is kind of fun because it's kind of pulled me back to like the first beginnings of YouTube for me. So I pulled out some MAC eyeshadows to play with and I'm kind of excited. I've zoomed you in a bit because I'm starting with my eyes as I always do, and of course I'm applying 2 eyeshadow primers. I'm putting the Fenty Beauty, what is this called? Pro Filter Amplifying Eye Primer on first, and then I'll follow it up with the Milani one. One of the reasons that I've been reaching for a lot of my old products lately is because I've been so unimpressed with so many makeup launches recently. I've reviewed a whole bunch of products on my blog that I've really enjoyed that are new, don't get me wrong, but I feel like so many of the launches that are coming out recently, I just couldn't care less about. And I find that really shocking because usually there's something new in makeup that's exciting or interesting, or a new color combination or a palette. But lately everything I'm seeing, I'm just like, I really don't care. So that of course has led me to use some of my old makeup, which I'm really enjoying. So this eye makeup look is all gonna be MAC focused. I'm gonna start off with this quad that I've got here. These are just singles I put together. The shade I'm gonna be using first is called Shag. It is old, it is discontinued, you can't get it anymore, but cork works pretty much the same for what I'm gonna be doing with this, which is just throwing it through my crease as a transition color. I'm applying this very lightly because I don't really want too much of this color to show, because I really want the crease color that I'm going to be putting over top of it to show up more. But I need a little bit of a transition color because it just helps to blend out the section from my lid up to my brow bone better. When I first learned about crease colors or transition colors via YouTube, I thought it was pretty much just like bogus, like there was no point to it. I thought it was a waste of time, a step you didn't need. And then one day I tried it because I was like, well, whatever, just give it a shot. It was life-changing. It was absolutely life-changing for my makeup. I couldn't believe how much better it made it look just to have a color that's close enough to your skin tone, sort of, between your lid and your brow bone. I couldn't believe it. It was absolutely jaw-dropping. Okay, with my transition color down, I'm now going to be going in with MAC's Gleam, which is this color over here. This is a combination I used to do all the time, probably about 10 years ago. This shadow is quite chunky, actually. It's not very smooth, but it does end up looking quite nice on the lid. Actually, it looks barely like anything at all. Anyway, I know the look will turn out good because I've done this before, but this shade I think was used on me at my wedding by the makeup artist, so of course I bought it afterwards. And I've used it a little bit, but not a ton, mostly just for this eye look. It must be a luster finish because it's just coming off kind of flaky. All right, with Gleam already on, I'm going to be going in with Coppering right here. What a color! I'm taking it on a MAC 217 brush, and I'm going to be putting that all through my crease, which is funny because people don't really do this anymore. They don't take a shimmery color and throw it through their crease, and I've really stopped doing it quite a bit, but every now and then you get a shade that it seems to really work for. This shade is definitely one of the most pigmented I've ever used by MAC. So I'm just whacking it basically everywhere and dragging it into Gleam. I forgot how much I love this color. I feel like it works really well with blue eyes too because the orange contrasts with it. What's that called? When they're opposite on the color wheel, is it complementary colors? I think. Okay, with that in place, I don't love just having shimmer on my eye, so I am going to take a matte shade. This one down here is called Handwritten, and I'm just going to take that on the same brush, just tap it a little bit because this one is super pigmented, and then just put it on the very outer corner. Okay, I dragged the matte color up a little bit too high, so I'm going to go back into Coppering and just sort of cover up the top area a little bit. Because I do want the copper to mostly show, not that brown that's hanging out down there. For my brow bone highlight shade, I'm going to go in with Rice Paper, also by MAC. And just throw that through there. Then I'm going to take Coppering again and throw that along my lower lash line with a pencil brush. This is a MAC 219, I think. It's kind of worn off on the edge. So what's going on with me lately? Well, one thing I am super looking forward to is a vacation next month. My friend Julie and I are going to England and Ireland. So it's very exciting that she's never been before. I've been quite a few times because one of my exes is actually from England, so I spent a decent amount of time over in the UK. But Julie's never been before, so I think that's going to be a lot of fun because she's going to want to see different things than what I've already done in the past because she has different tastes than me. So I think I'm going to see a different side of London and then Dublin that I haven't necessarily seen before, which will be really exciting. We're also going to Galway, which I have also been to, but I'm so happy to go back because I feel like Galway was a really special place to go. I went, geez, could have been 6 years ago now with my husband, but it definitely feels like it's time to go back. All right, eyeshadow is done. I'm gonna go in with some eyeliner here, and this is the Physicians Formula Eye Booster. I'm not doing a wing though, I'm just going to end it where my eye ends because I'm going to be putting false lashes on and I didn't really want an actual thick wing for this, so I'm just gonna try to keep it simple. So one of the reasons that we're going to London was that IMATS London is happening the first weekend that we get there. So I think that's the weekend of May 17th or 18th, something like that. So we're going to be doing IMATS London on the Saturday, which should be interesting. We've been to so many different IMATS now that this kind of feels like we're rounding it out because we've been to Toronto, New York, LA, and now London. So this should be interesting to like compare how this is to all the other ones. And then I think it's that night we're also going to see Phantom of the Opera, which I am so excited about. When I must have been a teenager, maybe younger than that, I was obsessed with Phantom of the Opera. I saw so many different movie versions of it, like from the 1930s and some of the silent movies too. I loved the updated music that it's more famous for now. Except I never managed to actually go see the play. So I'm really excited, or I guess it's an opera. I'm really excited to go see it, and the fact that we're seeing it in London is even more special. I also play a little bit of piano, and I learned to play a few of those songs from Phantom of the Opera because I was so into it. It was way above my sort of playability, but because I was obsessed with Phantom of the Opera, I just sort of made myself learn the songs by memorizing the keys because I couldn't really read the sheet music that well. So for the inner corner of my eye, I'm going to be applying some glitter, and this is the Lit Cosmetics glitter in the shade Oprah, which is, wow, that's really reflective. That is a pretty similar to my eye color. It's basically like a copper, some people would probably call this rose gold. Just gonna take a little bit of glitter glue from Too Faced, pop that on the back of my hand, and then grab a tiny brush, pop that on the inner corner, and then put the glitter on top. I'm also going to be running a half marathon in London the day after IMATS and after Phantom of the Opera, which is fun because I've never run a race over in the UK. But what's even more exciting is one of my friends who is UK based is actually going to be running it with me. So we used to play World of Warcraft together. We have met before, again, 6 years ago when my husband and I were in Ireland and England, and I'm so excited to see him because it's been quite a few years, and he just recently got engaged, so I get to meet his fiance. Whenever I do races in different countries, because that's kind of my thing when I go on vacation, I think I'm always doing them alone, and it gets kind of boring at the starting line by yourself, and it's a little bit lonely, so to have somebody actually going with me who's gonna run it is a lot of fun. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'm sure he will skunk me. But I've been training actually quite a bit for this half marathon. Better than I've done for most ones in the past. I have managed to maintain running 3 times a week, which I think you're supposed to do more than that, but I have so many half marathons in my back pocket at this point. I think I've run 10 or 12, something like that. that I know how much training I need, but usually in the past I've resorted to only running twice a week, sometimes once. And yeah, I can finish the half marathon, but I'm not necessarily in the best of shape that it could be. But this time I've actually been doing really well. I don't know what's changed. I think just years of sort of sorting myself out with physical activity means I just kind of have it down pat and I just do as I tell myself now. But I'm doing really good, so I hope that I have a fast race, but I haven't really been training for time. I'm just kind of getting my lungs back in shape for running for basically 2 hours. But I'm looking forward to this one. I'm just really hoping that it's not raining, because London, or England, is known for all of its rain. Although I have to say, the number of times that I have been to England and it's always been sunny is actually obscene. And every time I'm there, people are like, oh, this isn't normal. I'm like, I don't know, man. Every time I am in London or Birmingham or Manchester or any other place, it is always super sunny and warm. So I'm hoping that that holds out for the race, because I've never actually done a full race in like a piss storm of rain. That's never happened. So I hope this isn't that time. Okay, I got a little bit carried away with the glitter. I was hoping to keep it a little bit more concentrated, because it's actually quite a bit darker than the lid color over here, but on camera it seems to be reflecting enough that it's not too obvious as being too dark of a color. Because normally if you throw a dark color on the inner corner, it just kind of, I don't know, it doesn't open your eye up, it kind of makes it smaller, I think, so I don't know, it's working out okay. Okay, for mascara, I'm using Essence's The False Lashes Mascara Dramatic Volume Unlimited. I like this one because it has a conical wand, but lately I started to notice that it's kind of flaking on me, which I am not particularly enjoying. So I think I'm gonna go back to my CoverGirl Clump Crusher after I finish this one up. I'm gonna be using the Au Naturale Falsies by House of Lashes. These are really pretty and really subtle, which is nice every now and then. And for the Ireland part of the trip, we're going to be flying into Shannon and then taking a bus up to Galway and then spending not very long in Galway, probably like 48 hours, going to see the cliffs, which is beautiful. I have done it before, but I have to say the bus ride up to the cliffs, or the path anyway, is nauseating. When David and I did it, he drove, and like I just wanted to throw up the entire way up because it's so windy and the path is quite narrow. This time we'll be going in like a coach bus with a bunch of other tourists, so maybe it'll feel a little bit differently, but I just remember how sick I felt on those roads. So we'll be doing the cliffs one day, and then we'll probably just be walking around Galway because it's quite cute and it's quite condensed too, which is really nice. So we can see more things. And then we are taking the train to Dublin in a few days and then spending, I think, 2 days there and then flying out back to Toronto from there. I'm looking forward to this trip quite a bit because I didn't leave North America. I'm just putting lash glue on. I didn't leave North America last year because we bought the condo and we didn't really have a ton of money to just be throwing it on vacations. But man, I get really like claustrophobic if I don't leave Canada and the US basically, because I want to be exploring as much of the world as I possibly can, and if I don't take advantage every year, it feels not good to me. So I'm happy to be going on vacation pretty soon. I mean, I've already been to these places a few times before, but that's fine. I'm just happy to get out of the country and, you know, experience life that isn't just my everyday life. Okay, eyes are done, so I just zoomed you out so we can do the rest of the face. I'm going to be going in with two very much beloved foundations, and they are the Revlon Color Stay. Oh, I used to love this so much. I have two shades here because I'm kind of in between them. One of them is 150 Buff, and the other one is 110 Ivory. I'm neither of these shades, so I just mix them together to get a good match right now. Also, can we talk about the fact that they now have a pump top? So freaking nice. This was like one of the longest holds out at the drugstore that did not have a pump top, even though it's really expensive in Canada. It's like, it might be $27.99. Is that too high? Maybe it's $25. Anyway, it's really high. It is really good quality, but still it's a steep price tag. And I know it's like 40 or 45 in Australia, but for Canadian dollars, 25 bucks, if that's what this is at the drugstore, is a lot of money for a foundation. So we were also looking at potentially going Whoa, that's quite pale. Okay, hopefully that'll blend in. We were potentially looking at going to Sweden and I think it was Norway in the fall, but I think we've pretty much canned that idea, which is too bad because I'd messaged Paulina from Paulina Beauty and been like, where do you live in Sweden? We're coming. And then now I think it's not gonna happen, so that's kind of disappointing. But we have decided instead to go spend a week at David's parents' cottage in Wisconsin, around Sturgeon Bay area. I've never been, so I'm not too familiar with the area. We were trying to make it work into a single weekend, but because of the location of this cottage, it was just like turning out to be a ridiculous travel time for not enough time spent on location. I think if we left like Friday, it would take us like 10 hours to get there. We'd be there for like, I think it was less than 48 hours. It might have been 36 hours. And then we'd have to like turn around and go back home. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. We're not just going to spend this much money to go to a cottage for just a weekend. It doesn't make any sense. So we're spending a week there instead. But that's meant that I've had to can the Sweden and Norway trip just because I don't have that much vacation time. So, I mean, I do have a lot of vacation time, especially for North America. I have 4 weeks, I think it is, which I know is not a lot to Europeans, but that's a decent chunk in North America. So with the trip to England and Ireland, I think I'm already taking 10 days. And then over Christmas, I take another 3. And then it just wasn't going to work out to have a week in Wisconsin and then more time in Sweden as well. So I think that one's on the back burner for probably next year, but I don't want to say too much in case it doesn't happen again. But that's a country, or 2 countries that I've never been to, so I do really want to get there at some point. So normally I use a Real Techniques Miracle Complexion Sponge, but a friend gave me a beauty blender because she had an extra one. And I was like, but you're going to use it at some point. She's like, no, I don't need it, just take it. I don't like these as much as the Real Techniques one. I have to say, I think that this is way more porous and it absorbs way more foundation than the Real Techniques one does. I would not spend the money on this thing because I think it's like $25. Ugh. And I can get the Real Techniques ones for like $5 each. But I know everybody has their preference, so let me know if you're Team Beauty Blender or Team Miracle Complexion Sponge in the comments. For bronzer, I'm going to take this one from the Body Shop. You guys remember this thing? This used to be so talked about. It's the Honey Bronzer, and I think I have the shade, 01 Light Matte, something like that. And just putting it in the usual spots. I like this bronzer quite a bit, but I don't find I actually reach for it that much because I'm always reaching for my scented bronzers. Reaching for the Too Faced one, like the Milk Chocolate Soleil, or the Unicorn Tears one, because that's got a bit of a chocolatey scent. And then my butter bronzer smells good too. I just feel I gravitate towards the scented bronzers. For blush, another old favorite, MAC Gingerly. It's fairly neutral toned. Actually, it looks a lot more gray cast on the viewfinder, but it does have a little bit of a warm edge to it. And I sort of wanted something that was gonna match my eye look a little bit, but not be too loud. And for highlighter, Becca's Champagne Pop. Whew, this was so exciting when it first came out. I haven't hit pan, but I've got a good dip in it, which is very exciting. Although my friend Caitlin hit actual pan on it, and I was so excited when I saw that. This was months ago now. But it's really exciting seeing pan on other people's makeup products. I don't tend to hit pan very often on my own products. I'd film a video otherwise because I think it's fun to talk about. So when I see it on other people's products, I get super pumped about it. Tell you what, we wear these cute headbands to keep our hair out of our face, but they're metallic and they pinch so badly right there. I cannot wait to take this off. For brows, I'm just keeping it simple with 2 products I use all the time, the IT Cosmetics Brow Power and then the NYX Micro Brow in Taupe. I was using pomade for a while because I thought it looked better on camera, and then I was looking at old footage a while ago and I was like, ugh, it looks like your brows are too strong. So I started going back to pencils, and I think I just prefer how it looks. So I use the IT Cosmetics one first to draw the bottom line of my brow and make a tail because I have none. and then I fill the rest in with the NYX one. I do it this way because the It Cosmetics one is softer and goes on the brow much more smoothly and creamily, although it sets. And the NYX one is a better color match, but it's quite a firm pencil. And if I did that for this bottom line, I'm basically tugging at my brow, which is not fun. So I do that first, and then I just fill the rest in. One thing I forgot on the eyes is pencil liner. I'm just going to put some on my waterline. This is the Inglot Kohl Pencil in the shade 05. It's just a nude color, but I find it really does help to brighten the eyes. I thought this was such a stupid trick when people were doing it 10 years ago, and now I'm into it. Okay, so last thing is lips, and I've got two colors here which are very similar. I think I like the brighter one. So this is the Too Faced Melted Matte in Pumpkin Spice. This came out for holidays 2018. This is probably the newest item that I've mentioned in this entire video. Yeah, that works. This is a very monochromatic makeup look. I really like to do looks like this because everything always ends up matching. I am not great at filling in my lips because I do not have a very strong outer lip line. So if I ever overdraw my lips, it is an accident and my hand slipped. I never do it intentionally. Okay, so that is the finished look. It turned out to be quite a monochromatic copper look. I'm really enjoying it. As I said, monochromatic looks are one of the easiest things to do because everything just matches. So you don't feel like anything is totally out of place on your face. So that's it for a full face of nothing new. Hopefully you enjoyed this kind of video. Thank you so much for watching today, and I will see you next time. Bye.